And it says to us on the same Sunday, in loving God points out to us as an individual. First, it points to us as our character. In loving God with all our hearts, with all our soul, and with all our mind, it tells us that our character have to be in time with God. In everything that we do, should one, not one, but everyone should be able to see Christ in our character. Everyone's supposed to see Christ, not just in our character, but in the manner in which we carry out ourselves, in the words that we speak, in the words that came out of our mouth, our character, and also in yes, and in character. It says to us that the Lord wants each and every one of us, through parts of the large body, to be faithful to Him as individuals. And the foundation of that faithfulness should be our love to Him for who He is and for what He has done in the past for us and what He will continue doing for us in the present. When we look at, as we go on further on the Monday in the lesson, we come now to the fear of God. One person may ask, what it is to fear God? And on the Monday points out to us, fearing God is the beginning of wisdom. It also says, fearing God, it also teaches us how to love God. It says the instant fear of God is a sense of respect of His authority, His power, and His justice and righteousness. Some text would help us better understand it is Job 28:28, Psalms 11:10, Psalms 147:11. I would just like us to just go to any one of those texts, but we could choose Psalms 147:11. Psalms 147:11, and it says that the Lord taketh pleasure in them that fear Him and those that hope in His mercies. So it says to us that fearing the Lord is something of many persons believe that when we fear the Lord, it is something of fearful of a nature. It is something that is not of a good thing. To fear something is something that we would not tread on, something that we would not go near to. But in the fearing of the Lord, as we see in Psalms, it tells to us that the fearing of the the fearing of the Lord is taking pleasure. The Lord takes pleasure in them that fear Him, and also to those that hope in His mercies. We also go to Job.
Anything about the topic of the lesson and that introduction story? End time home at last? Are we looking forward to going to that home?
Yes.
So tell me something that draw your attention from the story, the introduction story this morning.
Means that we should not wait on the last to prepare for Jesus coming.
Say that again. I did not hear you.
Means we should not wait on the last to prepare for Jesus coming.
We should not wait on the last to prepare for His coming, because the story depicted that they waited on the last. But every day we should be preparing for His coming. We should be doing the things that we have to do. We should be telling others about His soon coming so that they too can prepare for His coming.
The story also tells me that we cannot benefit from others' relationship with God. So we should have a relationship with Him for ourselves.
Powerful, very powerful, Naomi. We should not depend on somebody's relationship with God, but as young people, we should have that relationship with Jesus. Thank you very much, Naomi. Anybody else? Anything else?
who love me enough to give everything for me. When I look at these distractions, how long would they stay? How long would they remain if I indulge in them? Where would they bring me? Then another question, other thing I like to tell Zaki, you see, we have to ask ourselves, if Jesus was right here in the position that I'm in, and the things that we call distractions, they were to bring those things to him, what would he say? Because if we truly want to live for ourselves, what would Jesus do in that position, in whatever position we find ourselves in? What would we say it and truly mean it deep down, searching our hearts and asking ourselves, what would Jesus do? And then whatever the Spirit brings to our minds that Jesus would do, we have to be willing to do it. Remember, everything here is just for a while. God and God alone is forever.
And so, say for instance, your wife, and someone else, your neighbor, and then stuff and thing like that.
Oh, no, understand what you're saying. You're asking the question is the same way that we are to love Christ, if it's the same way we are to love our wife and our neighbors. That's what you're asking.
Yeah, that is what I'm asking.
Right. Well, yes, the commandments say to us as we check out in the first three commandments we speak, it speaks of love to God and love for fellow men. And the same love that we are to have for God is the same love that we are to have to our fellow men. And when we do that now, we realize that everybody would be meshing with each other on a level playing field, so to speak. Nobody would not try to be not nice to somebody. Everybody love one another just as how Christ has loved us, and we'll have a very nice environment.
Brother Kid, I want to sound contradictory, but I want to say that we have to love our human beings a little less than we love Christ.
Why you choose to see that,
Because
Sister Lisa?
because the amount of sacrifice and attention and praise and stuff that Christ requires, I don't think we should be or we are eligible to give that to another human being because we may end up worshiping another human being, and Christ doesn't want us to do that. So I think that we should love them, but just a little bit less than we love God.
I like how you say it. You say we love them, but we should not worship them and we should not adore them. You understand? So you even answer the question for yourself. The reason here,
Love. We worship Christ because
yes, but you see now, the love that we have for Christ and the love that we have for fellow men is a manner of, as I was just pointed out, on our character, in the way we do things. But the love for God, when sons of worship comes in now, is a different level of love. We worship God as a fact, as we realize in our fearful now. In our fear to God gives us knowledge and understanding, saying to us that we are to do the things that Christ requires of us to do. Due to love, showing us that Christ has loved us first, that he died since in the foundation of the world, it shows to us that because of that love, we now get to understand that love. We now worship God through that love. The love that we speak about for fellow men is the love that we respect each other on the same line. We would do unto others that we like do unto ourselves. I see a hand up by Sister Rolla. Sister Rolla, you may go ahead and speak.
Happy Sabbath, everybody.
Thank you.
I don't believe it is possible to compare the two to say one should be more than the other. I believe that once we understand what it means to love God and have that relationship with him, that love influences us and it opens up our minds and our understanding as to how we are supposed to love others. Because if we do not know what it means to love God, then it means we cannot really genuinely love and care for others. So I think it's not a hierarchy but it's more of the only example that's coming to mind is a maypole. So God love is the foundation, and that influence we love others. If we don't love God, we're not do it to extend to others.
Sister Rhonda, you're breaking up slightly. I'm not hearing you clearly.
I hope this is better.
Yes, hearing much better.
Okay. I was saying God's love, as opposed to love for man, is not supposed to be a hierarchy. It's more, God's love is more of a foundation. His love influences the way that we love others. Our love for him.
Hello. Hello? Hello? Everybody hear me now? Hello? Who's hearing me? Hello?
Kid, I hear you slightly, yes, slightly.
Okay, blessings. All right. Brother Julian, you understand that better now?
I am hearing you as if you did what you say. That's how slightly